Hey, what's up? Alex here from Metamind Music, coming at you with another live video. Going to hang out, going to talk about some things. In this video, I want to talk about the four biggest truths that I have found to be a struggle in making music. And this topic goes deep. It's very personal. So I'm just going to kind of talk about what I feel I've discovered in the past 10 years about making music and producing music, and what has kind of gotten in my way, and what are the biggest struggles I've faced, and share those with you. But before I get into that, I want you to download my PDF. It's a 7-step process to help you get your ideas from your inception, your first ideas, your first riff, and bring it all the way to a mixed finished product in a matter of 7 phases. And it's a simple PDF to follow. You can get it at metamindmusic.com/workflow, or you can find it in the description below. So let's talk about the thing that no one wants to talk about, or is that's not fun to talk about, is the struggle behind making music, or any art in that matter. But we're going to talk about music today. And the number one struggle that I found personally, and that I feel is a common thread throughout many artists and musicians and home studio producers, the whole gambit, is fear of rejection. And it's a very subconscious thing usually, but a lot of the times we often talk ourselves out of trying things, or out of practicing, or out of showing and collaborating with others, because we fear rejection. We fear that we're not good enough. We fear that we might show our weaknesses, or that other people might not like our creations, because music is a living thing. It is a living mirror of yourself. It is a super deep physical and emotional expression that you're sharing with other people, and it's a very sensitive issue. It's a very sensitive art form, and it's very hard to get over this fear of rejection and of like what people will think of you, and really come back towards the inside purpose and see it as a mode of expression and sharing, right? And really give it the love that it deserves, because it's very easy to judge an expression of yourself, especially from your own perspective, because we have a very high bias about what our own music sounds like, or our skill level is. And I'll talk from experiences like me 10 years of playing guitar. I still feel inadequate in certain aspects of that, or like producing music and recording music. I still feel like I'm learning a lot, and I still feel like my skills might not be the best, or they should be, and I still fear these things. And I don't think that it ever goes away, but it's almost learning to work with this resistance that we feel, right? Because if you're dreaming about making music and producing records, and like making your own finished product and recording your own music, and you're super excited, and what's standing between you and getting there most of the time is your own internal resistance. And it usually stems into a deep psychological place of fearing rejection, right? Fearing facing that you might not be as good as you hope that you are, or that you have a lot to learn, right? And that fear often holds you back from even trying. It often holds you back from opening up a session and trying to record some stuff, or record some ideas. It'll just keep you sitting on the couch, and it's a very, very finicky thing to work with our brains. It'll very easily convince you to not do your art, or to not engage, or not learn, or not show it to other people. So that's just the first struggle that I feel is an ongoing process to learn to overcome, but it's definitely something that will keep you on your butt. So I'm here to encourage you to keep trying, and try and embrace the positive side of music. It's a beautiful thing, and there's a lot of other beautiful souls that express themselves through music, and that you can connect with and learn from. So that's the flip side of that point. The second biggest struggle that I see, and that I feel is prevalent in music production and learning music in general, is information overwhelm. Because in today's day and age, there is so much information out there. We are bombarded by information every direction we turn. At your phone, on TV, there's all these options. There's these new courses, these new plugins, these new tools, new techniques, new tutorials, new teachers, new artists, new music. It's kind of endless. And if you're kind of just getting started, or if you're an intermediate in music production, it's super easy to get extremely overwhelmed, because music production is quite a complex task. There's a lot of different things to learn, and it's an ongoing process, right? You're like going to keep learning music production as long as you're interested in it. And for beginners, especially intermediates, it's very hard to break through this information overwhelm. And that's why I've created like a PDF, but you need a framework, right? Something to help you take baby steps and focus on one thing at a time, so that your mind doesn't get overloaded. Your mind can kind of focus on one thing and not get distracted, because it's so easy to get so distracted with all the information, not knowing where to start, not knowing who to trust, not knowing what advice to follow, not knowing what step to take next. And I still find myself in this position sometimes. I'm like, what do I even do right now? There's so many things I want to do that I just get overwhelmed by all the amount of things that I have to do. Or even working with music, I'm not sure where to start, or I get stuck creatively, or I get stuck trying to learn something new. And it's this information overwhelm that often limits us from actually getting the work done, right? So I'm going to skip to the third point now. The third struggle that I found is kind of mindset, right? It's kind of being mindful and keeping a positive headspace, right? Keeping a good attitude, which is kind of, I find, very tough in this industry. Or not tough, but I don't see it too often. It's very rare to find people who are super upbeat and super focused and super positive all the time. A lot of artists and music producers kind of get down on themselves over a while, or they don't feel super stoked about their music, or they don't feel like they're going forward. They feel like they plateau. And this is all kind of a mindset thing, because it all depends on how you look at things, right? You could literally struggle you're facing as an opportunity, right? You could see it as an opportunity to learn. You could see it as an opportunity to adapt or to change focus. And it's pretty much all in the eye of the beholder. It's all of how you look at a situation, right? Because you could take a situation and become better from the situation, right? You could take it, learn what you needed from it, and then go forward. And then that situation was a positive thing, right? It helped you grow, it helped you learn, it helped you improve your craft. But you could also look at a roadblock or a situation as being an obstacle and being something in your way, and playing the victim, right? Be like, oh, I can't do this because this, right? Because I can't get the snare right. Well, that never goes away, by the way. But jokes aside, basically, it's keeping a mindset of, staying consistent, and having a focus that's positive, right? And like learning that you're going to learn one step at a time, and really keeping the headspace of learning and opportunities, and like get the word problems out of your vocabulary, right? Like nothing is really a problem unless you make it a problem in your own mind. So that kind of headspace I found was quite a problem in myself. I'm speaking from experience that I've slowly learned to kind of overcome, but I find it very prevalent inside the producer and recording industry, that you want to stay positive, right? You want to keep an upbeat attitude. You don't want to be all down and out when you're recording music, or if you're working with other people. You want it to be an uplifting experience. And my fourth and final struggle that I found, and that I feel is true, is that you have to stay focused. You have to discipline yourself in being able to stay focused, especially in today's day and age, where we are very much a distracted species with the technology we're surrounded by, and just the amount of information and cues that we interact with on a daily basis. It's pretty outstanding. And the way that our phones work, and notifications work, and social media works, and all these like YouTube and Google and all these different things, they're great tools, but they very often can distract you completely. Like I think there's a statistic that most people spend like 3 hours or 4 hours on their phone throughout the day, like religiously checking it over and over and over for a dopamine spike. And I'm still guilty of this from time to time, but I've really realized how much time I've wasted, and how much not only wasted time goes towards these things, but it literally fragments your focus, because for example, if you're sitting down to finish a song or to get the structure of a song laid out, if you have your phone beside you and it's buzzing, subconsciously, without you realizing it, your mind is half focused on your phone and what that message was or what the notification is about, and half focused on what you're actually doing. So you're not actually 100% deeply committed into the process that you're trying to complete. And this is a big, big, big problem in today's day and age. So the flip side of that is learning to utilize these technologies and tools just as tools that serve you instead of tools that control you. And this taps into the same thing of being consistent. Like, the only way that you're going to improve at something is to keep going at it consistently, right? Kind of having a daily practice. It doesn't have to be every single day, but some sort of process that you keep at the task over and over, and you keep trying to get better and learning. And even if you're trying to record, let's say, a whole record or even a song, there's a lot of steps to do. And the only way you're going to get to the final step is by committing to accomplishing a small amount every day over time. And that being consistent kind of flows into having a daily practice, which I find very enlightening and very grounding, to just have a routine in which a certain amount of time at a similar time every day or every second day, whatever your routine is. But whatever it is, you have your craft is part of your daily practice, one as the same. And this bleeds into keeping that focus, right? Like, avoiding being distracted in that time, whether it's just half an hour or an hour a day. Make it so that hour, half an hour counts, so that you're completely focused on the task. You're like 100% focused on producing music when you're sitting down to do it. And you're not thinking about other things. You're not distracted by other things. And your phone is in another room or off, even better. So those are my 4 biggest struggles that I have learned over time. I'm still obviously working to overcome these struggles and learn to grow with them, because they are never things you'll 100% overcome, but it's in growing and maturing as a person, you feel more free and more, I guess, above these things. You still deal with them, but they don't feel like it does. I like it, like, personally, I still deal with these things, but I don't feel like they waver over my actions as much as they used to do when I started. So I hope this video was useful. I hope, in shining a light on the darker side, on the shadow, on the things that maybe we don't talk about so often, that you can see the light and you can start to do some actions and harness the right headspace to take action and, stay positive, have a good attitude. And if you can keep those things and weather the ups and downs of, self-doubt or information overwhelm and confusion and being distracted, if you can keep that, you will undoubtedly be successful in whatever you wish to attain. So if you have any questions about this or have any content you would like to see in the future, just go ahead and drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, I invite you to get that PDF. It will really help you out to structure your time and follow a framework to help you get your ideas from the beginning stages all the way to end. You can get it at metamindmusic.com/workflow, or you can find it in the description below. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.